Shopping. It can be a lot of work, but for vintage curator Wallis Barton, it is her work. Wallis chatted with me, Kristin Vartan, all about her shop, the Cornwall Collection, and being a Renaissance woman. Welcome to Keeping It Krischic, where we keep up with the chicest in film and fashion. I'm your host, Kristin Vartan, and joining me today is the ever-fabulous Wallis Barton. Wallis Barton is a model and actress and the vintage curator behind the Cornwall Collection, which we have some of the stuff right here. So Wallis, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Of course.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. You know, you are just so fabulous. I actually dressed up for your collection because I know you have a lot of very scarf printed pieces and stuff like that.
It's very in right now.
Very statement stuff.
Yes.
And you also have a nice statement jacket on. I love it.
My crazy card, my crazy gambling jacket.
Yeah, I love it. You have a very distinct signature kind of theme with your collection. Kind of just starting off.
Sure.
What is the inspiration behind the Cornwall Collection?
I'm an actress, and I just needed another creative outlet.
Right.
And honestly, I have this amazing group of women that are my best friends, and they basically had an intervention with me. And they were like, you've just got to do this. You just have to curate vintage for other people, to share it with other people, because you do it so much for yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, when I was looking before I started the collection, I would see all these different sizes, and I would just be like, oh, I wish that I could fit into this, and it just wouldn't be for me.
Yeah.
So now when I find those other pieces, I just throw them into the collection, and it's more size inclusive, and I'm not just shopping. Yeah, right. And so I'm not just shopping for me anymore. It's other people, and I just think that when you're wearing, rocking an outfit, and you love it and you just feel amazing, it does something for your confidence.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that fashion, you're sending this message to other people. This is how I want you to perceive me.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something really powerful in that.
I would definitely agree with that. Fashion is such a big kind of contributor to showing people's, personality kind of on what they're wearing.
Of course, yeah.
So kind of speaking of personality, I feel like the Cornwall Collection, like I said, is very kind of just signature, and your name is so interesting, the Cornwall Collection.
Thank you.
What was the idea behind the name?
My middle name is Cornwall.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My real name is Julia Cornwall Barton, and Wallis, the name that I go by, is a nickname of Cornwall.
Oh.
And so growing up, my friends, all in good fun, would make fun of me, and they would just be like, come here, Cornwall. And so it's kind of a nod to my southern roots, because it's a southern family last name. And,
oh, awesome.
And to be honest, I'm literally never going to use it in any other way, because it's so weird. And yeah, so that was kind of the origins of the name.
I kind of got a British vibe from it, Cornwall,
right?
you know.
And those are my roots. So yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about kind of the idea behind the collection. What is the idea behind the clothing pieces that you select for your collection?
As you can kind of see, it's really more vintage streetwear. I don't have any ball gowns, and I love and appreciate those things. But just on a day-to-day level, when I'm curating it, I'm just like, okay, what could somebody literally wear every day to make a statement? Something that's super high quality. This is this beautiful, leopard's really in right now.
Oh, for sure.
It's 100% silk, heavy, high quality silk. It's vintage St. John, which is a beautiful brand, beautiful designer. And so I look for pieces that make statements, but that you could kind of incorporate in, for example, what I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing basics on the bottom, just a black V-neck, black jeans. I accessorize with some necklaces and belt, but this is the statement.
For sure. I mean, it really just plays up, no pun intended, with the cards.
Right. My kind of mission with all this is to deliver really beautiful, high quality pieces at not the designer price point.
Millennials are probably amongst some of your clients, and they're young, college budget, they need something that looks really great, but secondhand clothing is a lot easier to afford.
Absolutely. And I think that now people are the vintage market is becoming more saturated, which I think is amazing, because it's sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, we're recycling clothes now, and we're upcycling them, and we're making them better, and we're making them work for this new generation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's at a lower price point, so people can afford it.
And you talk about sustainability, and I've noticed a lot of people in the millennial and Gen Z generations, they are more cognizant of sustainability.
Right.
And a lot of designers now are starting to be more sustainable. But I feel like thrifting and vintage shopping, consigning, like that's like the OG like sustainability.
Right. And it absolutely is. And you know, I wish that I could say that I got into vintage because I just like had this passion for sustainability, but it was the opposite.
Right.
I got into vintage, and then I started doing my research, which I think is our obligation as consumers.
Yeah.
And just customers in general. It's like, we should be knowing what these places that we're putting our money into these companies, these like billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
And we should be knowing like where our money's going. Like, are they treating their workers fairly?
Right.
What is the impact that these companies are having on their environment and on our environment? And the countries that are manufacturing, the average person throws away 82 pounds of fashion and
that's just crazy.
And waste related to fashion, whether it's like plastic bags or tags and like the plastic things that you rip off of things, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
And when you think about that and how you as just an individual can make such an impact just by spending your money in a more specific and conscious way, it's really insane.
So it's such a saturated business. How do you feel like the Cornwall Collection stays afloat and like stays set apart from the other places?
It all just comes down to the curator and what they like to wear, what they like to curate. Like, some people are so into the prairie thing is so in right now.
Oh, for sure.
And then you can find really beautiful like prairie dresses from the 70s, and that's just not my personal taste.
Yeah.
Like, if you want some like glam, like,
yeah, take them off the rack. I want to see some of these pieces.
Gold lame, Lily Rubin, gold lame,
it's
like
so pretty.
Designer from the 80s. Like, that's more my style.
Yeah.
Like, I want something that's like glam, that you're not paying $1 million for. Like, I want to always feel like I'm getting a good deal when I'm buying.
Yeah.
And you know, and because I am always looking for a good deal, I can always give somebody else a good deal.
Can we actually take some of these off the rack and maybe like try some pieces on? I would love to get styled by the Wallis from the Cornwall Collection. So let's see what we got here to work with.
Well, first I think you have to take this and put it on.
Oh, I love it. I am a Leo, so seeing these awesome doorknob buttons with the lions on them, I am obsessed.
So I was talking about this vintage St. John leopard.
Oh, this is so cute.
This is vintage St. John, and the thing with this is like, I'm sorry, but you can just feel the quality.
Oh my, yeah, it feels so high quality for me.
I know, and like, it's beautiful, the fabric, the way it's stitched together and put together. It's
the buttons are
the buttons,
beautiful.
These like crazy door knockers that are so, quintessential 80s.
Yeah.
It's just, and you feel the weight of it and the weight of like the quality of the piece.
Exactly. Like, there's definitely a lot of care that went into making this, and you can feel it as you're wearing it.
And you can't get stuff like this with fast fashion. It's just like somebody had a lot of pride when they were creating this.
For sure. And you probably have a lot of pride when you like selected it. Like,
I do. I really do. I love it. I mean, I love all of my pieces. Like,
do you feel like clothing like speaks to you? Like, what is like that moment where you think, wow, like this is like the piece, like this is what I have to have in my collection?
If it's something that I look at and I'm just, first of all, I don't have anything in the collection that I personally would not wear.
Yeah.
If it was my size.
To the point where you probably are like, man, I don't want to give this away to someone.
I always have this moment when I'm selling it and I'm just like, goodbye.
You are my child and I'm letting you out into the world.
I know, exactly. I always have this moment of just like, oh, should I have kept you? But that's what I want to feel like that, because then I know that I'm delivering something really amazing to somebody else. And it's more, at this point, it's more about them going to good homes.
Yeah.
You know?
And speaking of good homes, I saw a couple of your pieces on some people at the Sundance Film Festival, which is, you know, happening right now. So what was that like, seeing your pieces at this very kind of iconic event?
I love it. It's really special. That was the first time that had ever happened to me.
Yeah.
I've had people wear my pieces at premieres, like around LA.
Oh, amazing.
But I had never had them go to such a, you know, a big festival where they're being photographed all the time.
Yeah.
And it was really special.
Just kind of to talk about the market, the vintage market. So kind of when you go on these hunts, I'm sure that you have a lot of like other people that are looking at these pieces as well. So what is it like? Like, is it a very competitive to shop for these pieces when you go out?
I would be the only person in whatever thrift store or whatever place, and then now when I go in, I'll see other people, and you always can spot out other curators.
Yeah. Because
it's like they're on a mission, and I'm the same way. It's like nope. Oh, let me try this one on and see like how it feels. You know, you can just tell that people are the curators because they're there on a mission.
Yeah.
And so I try to do a lot of shopping for the collection online, and now I will just like fight with other sellers, and I'll just be like, give me this for this price, and then they hate me, but then sometimes they give it to me at that price, and then I'm able to give somebody else like a really great deal on it. And basically my target seller is somebody that's cleaning out their grandmother's closet in like West Palm Beach.
I love it. So basically me, but from the Central Valley, because I always like take my mom's pieces and my grandma's pieces.
And honestly, that's what we should be doing. I think you just aren't gonna find this kind of quality at these prices unless you're shopping vintage.
Have you always been into fashion?
I have. I've definitely had a crazy evolution of my style.
Yeah.
I've gotten like a lot, it's weird, I've gotten a lot lazier with my personal style. Like I used to like dress up all the time, and now I'm just like on the go. So what can I throw on? Like what if I am just basic on the bottom and just throw something wild on top?
Yeah.
You know, what can I just grab to throw on that's gonna make me look interesting? You know? And now I'm all about like, I want to look interesting. Like I want people to see me and think like, oh, she's an artist, or like, oh, she looks interesting.
They're conversation pieces, for sure. Last but not least, what would you tell women or girls that are looking into getting into this kind of business?
Trust your gut. You know, trust your gut, trust your taste and your own personal style, and curate based on what you would wear and what you want to share, what you want to wear and what you want to share.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Keeping It Krischic.
Of course, I was so excited to be invited.
Of course. So where can everyone find you? So at the Cornwall Collection is your main handle.
Yes, the Cornwall Collection, and then I'm working on my website, and it's just going to be thecornwallcollection.com. Like
amazing.
That is
so look out for that.
Right. So that's about to be up and running, and I do pop-ups all over town, so if you want to, and I do private appointments, so if anybody wants to come and shop the collection, there's so many ways to do that. So
amazing. And you can also find me at Keeping It Krischic. This is where the episode will be posted. And as usual, thank you guys so much for watching, and can't wait to see you next time.